What's up, family? Thank you for tuning in to the DreamNation podcast. My name is Casanova. I'll be your host, and I'm excited to be bringing to you entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and trailblazers from around the world. Stay locked in with us because we're about to go on a journey that will change your life. What's up, DreamNation? Casanova here, and I wanted to bring to you all this video because we are in the most trying time that we've been in probably in the last 100 years, not only individually, but of course as businesses and also as countries and our economy has ever been in. And so I wanted to bring this video to you as hopefully some inspiration, but at the same time, some motivation, whether you have been impacted financially or whether you've been impacted by directly having COVID, or even someone else in your family that you've been having to take care of having COVID. I want you to know that I'm definitely here with you in spirit, and I'm very, very much praying for you. So with that being said, I wanted to talk to you about something that I believe is very, very important to acknowledge, especially in the time that we're in right now. And that is the why and the power of entrepreneurship. Now, I've talked to many friends and family members and people that are much older than me, and they've been impacted by this very severely, especially when you think about the layoffs. One layoff that I heard is as United Airlines, over 10,000 people that they are going to be laying off or they've already laid off. And of course, we know that the airlines just in general, they have asked the government to do another bailout. In 2001, I believe they had a bailout because of 9/11 of just about $5 billion. Well, now they're asking for closer to $12 to $15 billion on this tragic situation. And so what does that mean? That means that they've had to lay off so many different people. And then not only them, which is the major companies, but of course, small to medium-sized businesses have been getting laid off, and even entrepreneurs, which are self-employed like myself and maybe even you, we've all suffered on the financial side of this. But if you're someone who is not an entrepreneur and you're someone who does not control not only your own time, not only your own, rights, but at the same time, you don't control your own income to be able to get out there and make more money because, of the skills that you've already learned, then now is the time. Why is now the time? I believe because this is the time where you can get a reset. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and do something crazy, but what I'm saying is look at what are the skills that you already have. If you have skills of graphic design, if you have digital marketing, if you have speaking abilities, any of these different things, what you can do is you can hold things like virtual summits. You can then do gig economy jobs. You can be on freelancer.com. You can be on upwork.com, and you can hire other people as well to be able to fulfill those services. But first and most importantly, you have to acknowledge that having one source of income no longer can be the standard. Having multiple streams of income has to be the necessity. For me, I knew that I wanted to not only own real estate, not only become an agent, because those are a couple different things, but I wanted to make sure that I was diversified. The reason why a lot of us, especially as Americans, are not getting ahead in life is because we only have one source of income. And what happens? Life happens, whether it's health, whether it's your money and you're getting into a car accident, so you had to put that money in there, knock on wood. There could be so many different things that could happen to you. And if you only have one source of income, not only are you putting your future in jeopardy, but you're putting your family's future in jeopardy. So when you think about why it's so important to be an entrepreneur, I think the big reason is because understanding that you get to control everything about you, right? And when you are in a corporate world, think about this, you're just one cog in a wheel. And so what that means is if for whatever reason, the company needs to do layoffs, where are you in that? You could say, oh, I'm top end executive, but at the same time, you might be getting paid the most. And they might feel like that you've trained 3 to 4 other people that can now do your job, and they can pay those people essentially at least 2, maybe even 3 of them, the combined amount that you're getting. Maybe also you're somebody who's saying, okay, well, I don't know what my skills are. And I completely understand that. But here's what I'll tell you. You have to be willing to bet on yourself. Because in the world of entrepreneurship, it just takes heart. if you're serving every single day, if you're figuring out a way to add value. And now I believe entrepreneurship will be so much more important, because if you look at so many of the jobs that are in today's economy, they were created by entrepreneurs. They were created by people who were willing to go out there and take risk. That's what entrepreneurship is. It's taking a risk. Well, I'll tell you this, when you had your first child, if you have any kids yet, you took a risk. You didn't know exactly how you were going to raise a child. Yes, you had some help. And if you have network and if you have relationships, if you've been listening to me for any amount of time, you know that I always say that networking and relationships and getting out to these events and finding other people who've done what you're trying to do is so essential. Right? That for me, teaching other people in real estate, it's because of the things that I've already learned. Nobody has all of the answers. You don't need to have all the answers. But what you do need to have is the will. You do need to have the grit. You do need to have the perseverance and the resilience to be able to keep fighting. Keep fighting. Whenever there's something that goes wrong. And right now we're in a time where we're looking to build our character. How are you going to respond? Because you can't ever control the results. In basketball and football, sports. Right now we don't have sports. So I know in my household it's going crazy. We don't have sports, but how will we control the results? We can't. What we can control though is our attitude. We can control our effort, and we can control our energy. Those are the things that you have to be focusing on. And so I would tell you, if right now you're thinking about where is my next income check going to come from? If you're thinking about how am I going to pay the food for, how am I going to get another couple weeks of groceries because I've been laid off and I don't know where that's going to come from. First off, you have to assess your situation. You have to figure out what exactly are your bills that need to be paid. If they don't need to be paid, whether that means cable, things like that, yes, this might mean that you need to let Netflix go for a couple months until you can figure it out, right? This might mean that you can't go get a hairdo for the next couple weeks until you can figure it out. Yes, this might mean that you might need to sell, some of your, whether it's old cell phones, whether it's whatever it might be. Think about those things. What can you cut out? What are the necessities? And then the second thing is, I would say, okay, let's figure out what are the things that you can do right now to make money. There's a lot of people right now that are looking for help, especially if they can't reconvene with their team because they're not having large gatherings. So if they're doing things by Zoom and everything else, maybe they are not familiar with the world of automation. Maybe they're not used to those types of things. So can you provide yourself as a service to those people? If that's not something that you're comfortable with, look at, again, the gig economy. Can you go do anything like Lyft or Uber and give people rides still, right? Maybe they're not going to a big gathering, but they still have to get to and from work. Can you go do anything like Uber Eats where you delivering food still? Can you put it out there that you will go pick up groceries for someone and bring them to their house, especially if it's the elderly or something like that? You could do, hey, for every person that pays, I'll also donate my one free ride for groceries to an elderly person at no cost to them. It's similar to Tom's Shoes, if you ever heard of that, where if somebody was buying a pair of shoes, and for every pair that was bought, they would then turn around and donate it to someone who did not have shoes. Figure out a way that you can be valuable to someone else. What do you have already? Right? And you might have to, again, sell some things for you. But the reason why this is so important is because for your family, for the future, the economy will bounce back. It already has, in a sense, because we have now started to get a control of these tests. Right? And I'm not saying that we're already in the clear, but we've started to understand what's been going well in other countries like China, things like that, what's not going well in other countries like Italy or anywhere else, and we're assessing the situation. But what I'm telling you is, don't focus on putting your head down in the negative. You can only control your mindset, you can only control your energy, and you can only control your effort. So what you have to do is find what's the positive out of these things. If you're an investor, if you're any type of an investor, we all know you make money when you buy, not when you sell. So you have to be thinking about right now, what is it that I can buy, right? Think about Starbucks, all these companies. There was nothing wrong with their product. The economy took a dump. So we know when the economy strengthens again, these stocks, these companies are going to shoot right back up. Do you have any type of money? Do you have any type of leverage that you can put into you getting some stocks? Now, you being able to get some real estate, because those are things that might happen over the next 3 to 6 months as well. So I wanted to talk about what are 2 ways that entrepreneurs will be the front runners of what will happen in the future over the next 6 to 18 months. Number 1 is entrepreneurs will lead the way of rebuilding the economy. Why? Because they will have systems, they will have innovation, they will use technology, and they will adapt to the change. That's what makes anybody successful. It's not about being the smartest. It's not even about necessarily working the hardest. It's about, can you adapt to the change? That's what entrepreneurs, and especially in the tech world, has been able to do, right? And so if you be thinking about that, where is everything going? Take a couple looks ahead and see, okay, where is everything going to? Can you build some type of an app or a software? If that's not what you can do, can you connect with someone who can build that? And I want to say, if you're already an entrepreneur, understand how brave that you are and how much your future is brighter than ever. Because we are the ones who are going to go out there and we're going to change the world for a better place, right? We're going to make sure that this doesn't happen again. We're going to continue to build our communities, and it's going to start with you. So here's what I'll tell you at the end of the day. Joy would not feel so good if it wasn't for pain. And this is something that I've always stressed to my kids. I've always stressed to my family. I've always stressed to each and every person that's going through hardship. And I want to tell you the same thing. Remember, we're all in this together, and in the dream we trust, but we must continue to take action. Because if we don't take any action, if we stand on the sideline, if we don't go after what we want, if we don't go after what really inspires us at the end of the day, then we'll always be living with some type of regret. And in this time right here, you have an opportunity to not only reset your future, but potentially even reset your family's future. This is your time to go all in. The reality of it is there's going to be a lot of aid. If you can go all in right now on your goals and your dreams, if you mess up, at least you weren't wondering what if. Now, am I telling you to be reckless and irresponsible and get a whole bunch of stuff that you're just betting on that probably won't work? No, but I'm telling you to make a calculated decision, and you have to take a risk. If there's no risk, there's no reward. So at this time, be working on yourself. Be making sure that you're listening to podcasts, that you're reading books, that you're working on personal development. What high income skill can you build right now? Whether that means that you're doing something with copywriting, whether that means that you're doing something with video editing, whether that means you're doing something with digital marketing, whether that means that you're doing something with speaking, it does not matter. You have to develop what is your high income skill. And if you already have that, combine that with your gift, which is what comes easy for you and harder for others, and there's no way that you can lose. Your family believes in you, I believe in you, and if you're not an entrepreneur right now, trust and believe, I believe that you can be if you flip your mindset, because you're already, I'm most sure, you're already running around and you're wearing a lot of capes. Maybe you're homeschooling your kid right now. Maybe you're still helping someone run a business or running a business yourself. Maybe you're running multiple businesses. Maybe you're helping out in multiple businesses. It does not matter, but trust me, but I'm very sure that you're already a superhero, not only in my eyes, but in the eyes of many people around you. So take a look at that. So that's my tips for today. Sorry we got off on a little bit of a tangent, but I hope that you hear this message, you have some inspiration, but more importantly, it motivates you to take action. Now, if you've gotten anything out of this, I would encourage you and I would ask you to please drop a comment below. Let me know what's going to be your number 1 tip to being able to fuel forward in this time of crisis, and also like and share this out. I look forward to seeing you on the next one in the Dream We Trust. Let's go. That's the episode for today. Let me know if you got any value out of this, if you liked anything about it. Reach out to me on Instagram or Twitter, any of the social media networks, and of course, leave me a review, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you're hearing this at. I would love to have a review to show, what you're getting out of this. Is there anything that I could do better? Is there any way that I can add more value to you? So hopefully you all take some action today. That's my show. I love you all. Be great. But remember, we must take action.